Nice and dry for today, but I'm tracking another front for tomorrow. I'll let you know when another line of thunderstorms is headed our way.
Lowering fuel costs, President Trump calling for a suspension of the federal gas tax. What this could mean for the prices you pay at the pump.
Hantavirus update. One of the people in quarantine after the cruise ship evacuation is from North Carolina. Why health experts say a spread of the virus across North Carolina is highly unlikely.
We are following those stories and more here. WREL News at 8 starts in 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Your number one source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Good morning. The time is 8 a.m. here on your Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on Fox 50. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. They had a rather chilly start to the morning. Of course, some people were dealing with some fog, depending on where you were. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking it all for us.
It's been from the Triangle area northward and eastward and then southward back down towards Southern Pines. We are really starting to see a good bit of improvement. We take a look at visibility. None of the sensors are showing anything under a mile in terms of our visibility. And places where we had some fog earlier definitely dissipating. North Hills was one of those, and so we're seeing some improving visibility here. 46 is our temperature in the Triangle, and we dropped down into the low 40s in some places this morning. As a matter of fact, we were in the 30s in Roxborough and South Hill just a couple of hours ago. 46 in Southern Pines, 47 in Goldsboro, 49 in Rocky Mount and Wilson. But we do warm up nicely this afternoon. We'll climb into the mid-70s with lots of sunshine, and that sunshine's breaking out in a lot of places already. Our next weather maker comes Wednesday evening. That'll be another front that'll bring us a chance for rain. I'll talk about how much we could see. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now, boy, congestion really beginning to ease coming in from the Gardner-Johnston County area. As we look live at I-40 at Jones-Sausage Road, you can see traffic flowing into Raleigh at a nice steady clip. That was jammed up there for a little while. A crash on I-40, 440 interchange cleared about 45 minutes ago. So once you get to the interchange and you decide whether you want to go to the northern loop of the Beltline, if you decide to go to the southern loop of the Beltline, you're looking at a 7-minute delay right now. If you're navigating I-40 westbound through Wade Avenue, just a couple of minutes delay. So we've been talking about the fog and low cloud conditions for the last hour and a half or so. We've been showing you this camera at I-40 and Davis Drive. Boy, you can see, you've been with us for the better part of 2 hours now. You can see how things have definitely lifted there in this particular area, whether you're driving to Durham or the Chapel Hill area. So checking those routes heading into the Raleigh-Wade County area, the major trouble spot, and we see this time of the morning coming in from Wake Forest. We're looking at a 4-minute delay into downtown Raleigh. There's a 6-minute delay on I-87, so things are getting better there. If you're coming in from Apex, a 4-minute delay, things are improving there as well. And for those of you coming in from I-40 on the eastbound, we're picking up a little bit of a delay around Harrison Avenue, but nothing that's going to make you late. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Okay, Ken, thank you. We will begin this morning with a look at gas prices. New data from AAA this morning shows $4.16 in Raleigh, $4.23 in Durham and Chapel Hill, and $4.02 in Fayetteville. This morning, President Trump is suggesting suspending the federal gas tax to bring prices down. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have supported the idea in recent weeks. WREL's Kelsey Coffey, she joins us live from a gas station in Cary this morning to really explain what this could mean for the prices you pay at the pump. Kelsey.
Yes, Laura, this is really a nuanced conversation. The federal gas tax only accounts for about 18 cents of what you see here at the pump. And if this tax is removed, it still is not clear how much drivers could save. President Trump is now calling to suspend the federal gas tax. Congressional approval is required to make that move happen. WRAL reached out to all North Carolina congressional lawmakers asking whether they'd support suspending the gas tax. none of them responded. A study on state gas tax holidays found that about 60 to 80% of the tax cut was actually felt at the pump. So another big question to ask is, if this tax is suspended, then what does that mean for the revenue it generates? Federal gas tax revenue usually accounts for spending for transportation projects across the country. And if the tax is suspended, then that means the progress on those projects could be impacted. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump says the ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran is wearing thin after Iran's most recent proposal. The Strait of Hormuz is a major sticking point for that deal. Iranian state media reports that Tehran wants recognized sovereignty over the waterway. Both sides have exchanged fire since the ceasefire, and it has effectively been closed for 10 weeks. Speaking in the Oval Office yesterday, the president did not seem happy with Iran's latest proposal.
It's unbelievably weak, I would say. I would call it the weakest right now. After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support, where the doctor walks in and says, "Sir, your loved one has approximately a 1% chance of living."
The closing of the Strait of Hormuz has disrupted global oil markets. Crude oil prices have jumped about $30 per barrel since the war in Iran started.
And new this morning, a third evacuated cruise ship passenger tested positive for the hantavirus. This case comes from Spain. The Spanish health ministry says the person is in isolation at a hospital in Madrid. 18 Americans are at the University of Nebraska Medical Center's National Quarantine Unit. One of them is in the contamination unit because they tested positive. The hantavirus outbreak killed 3 people on that cruise ship. Well, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services monitoring the hantavirus outbreak. We now know one person from North Carolina was on board that expedition cruise ship and is being quarantined. WRAL's Ali Katlabar joining us live from the UNC Health in Raleigh. Ali, medical experts are saying it's highly unlikely for the virus to spread to the public.
Yeah, Ken, and we spoke with the medical director for the Department of Infection Prevention here at UNC Health. They say that even though that one person was from North Carolina on that cruise ship, it's highly unlikely for that virus to reach our state. Now, the virus may bring up some memories of COVID-19, the pandemic, social distancing. Well, medical experts from UNC say that shouldn't be the case with hantavirus. It's more deadly than COVID, but hantavirus does not spread as easily. The Andes strain is not airborne like COVID, and another difference, medical experts with UNC say we know who was exposed to the virus.
Andes virus, of the more than 20 hantaviruses, is the only one that goes person to person, but that is relatively inefficient. We already know who are the people who are exposed. They'll all be monitored and cared for, and I think there's virtually no risk to the public.
And you can read more about hantavirus, its comparison to COVID, and how it's different on WRAL.com. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Katlabar, WRAL News.
Stuff over raises for state employees could be coming to an end. People familiar with state budget negotiations tell our NC Capitol team lawmakers are close to a deal that would give most state employees a 3% raise. The deal would also include other possible bonuses. Teachers and law enforcement officers could see even bigger raises. Republicans in the state House and Senate have not passed a comprehensive budget for the current fiscal year. They've been debating over tax rates and state employee raises, among other things. Lawmakers say negotiations are ongoing, and while a deal in the raises is close, nothing is final.
Today's scheduled State Utilities Commission hearing has been rescheduled due to security concerns. The commission was supposed to hold a public hearing on Duke Energy's proposed rate hikes. A docket amendment says the presiding commissioner was made aware of significant security concerns related to the hearing. The documents did not describe what those concerns were. The meeting has been rescheduled to June 3rd. Duke Energy is looking to increase residential electricity rates by 18% over the next 2 years. That could mean customers may have to pay roughly $34 more per month by 2028. The proposal comes as power bills continue to climb.
In Wake County, librarians are criticizing staff cuts. They gathered last night outside the Wake County Commissioners meeting to make their voices heard. They say reduced staff hours have resulted in cuts to library services and poor working conditions. They say the libraries have been understaffed for more than a decade. Their argument is additional cuts would be disastrous for libraries all across the county. Well, today in Mooresville, the town manager is expected to present his proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. That presentation will be given at tonight's town council meeting that starts around 6 o'clock this evening. A public hearing on the proposal will be held in a couple of weeks. Well, time now, 8:10. Diverting Helene funds. A new bill would redirect millions of dollars initially set for storm recovery in North Carolina. Where the money is going and why some officials are against that bill.
And voting map saga. States across the country responding to a Supreme Court ruling that weakened the Voting Rights Act. Which state is trying to keep their new map and which states are getting approval on theirs?
And it's a chilly start this morning. Our temperatures are mainly in the mid to upper 40s right now. We're on our way to a warmer day today, but then followed by some showers and thunderstorms late tomorrow. I'll show you the timeline. 8:13, and we're taking a live look at downtown Raleigh from the Well Department, and it's beautiful out there. Lots of sunshine. We've had a little bit of low cloud cover and fog in some spots this morning, but it's starting to dissipate nicely. So heading out the door, you're going to notice it feels chilly. 46 in Southern Pines and in Raleigh, 49 in Wilson, 47 in Goldsboro. Visibility is coming up nicely. You still have 2-mile visibility in parts of Southern Pines, and there may be some lingering fog in spots, but for the most part, all the cameras that I'm seeing have seen much improved visibility. Heading out the door for your morning run or walk, you're going to notice it feels a good 15 plus degrees cooler than it did this time yesterday, but we are in store for a very comfortable afternoon with highs in the mid 70s. By late tomorrow evening, we have the chance of our next front coming through. I'll show you what it will bring us. Coming up, Ken.
Well, that's what's happening now. Here's a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. We're monitoring this incident here on the shoulder of the road on the eastbound lanes, not causing any problems for anybody, just the usual morning congestion that we're seeing in those eastbound and westbound lanes as well. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic. So here's what you're looking at for that southern loop of the Beltline. You're looking at a 13-minute delay. So definitely, if this is part of your morning commute, you might want to give yourself some extra time. The situation that was coming in from the Garner-Johnson County area, that's completely dissipated. No delays whatsoever at this hour.
Ken, thank you. Emergency management leaders are criticizing a plan that could redirect money set aside for Helene recovery. A top Republican lawmaker filed a bill that would overhaul who runs disaster response in North Carolina. It would move responsibility from emergency management to the state fire marshal. As part of the bill, nearly $5 million that was earmarked for local fire departments for Helene response could instead be spent anywhere the state fire marshal sees fit.
The bill appears to be trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. North Carolina Emergency Management is the right agency.
So WRAL did ask the state fire marshal why the bill is needed and if the money is still going to Helene recovery and preparedness. The fire marshal said the funds would support disaster preparedness and emergency readiness.
New developments in the nationwide voting map saga. The Supreme Court says Alabama cannot use a map that includes 2 black majority districts. The decision frees the state to use a map approved in 2023 by the Republican-led legislature that includes only 1 black majority district. It comes after the U.S. Supreme Court weakened the Voting Rights Act with a ruling on Louisiana's map. Justice Sonia Sotomayor was critical of the ruling in Alabama. She says it will create confusion ahead of an election next week. In Virginia, Democratic officials are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to reinstate its recently voter-approved map that benefits Democrats. This emergency appeal follows a ruling from the state Supreme Court that voids that map. The new map was approved by voters last month. It could help Democrats pick up as many as 4 more seats.
People in Raleigh are raising concerns now about a recent wave of what they call petty crime. Members of the East Citizens Advisory Council gathered in Raleigh last night. Community members shared videos showing children throwing things at homes. They say it's a big problem.
It's always been a family-oriented neighborhood since I was a little kid, and we've never really had this kind of issue from neighboring areas. So it is a little concerning.
Raleigh police say they believe the children involved are between 7 and 8 years old, and their parents are not cooperating. They are asking for the assistance and support of parents and community members to bring about change.
Well, President Trump is honoring police officers from all across the country as part of National Police Week. The president hosted his second Rose Garden Club dinner at the White House yesterday. There were leaders from several law enforcement organizations. President Trump thanked the nation's police officers for their service and sacrifice.
This week especially, our thoughts turn to the officers who gave their lives in the line of duty, to all of the incredible police officers, sheriffs, deputies, law enforcement officers, all law enforcement. We want to thank you.
The president also went on to thank the work the Secret Service does as Police Week gets started.
WREL is paying tribute to fallen officers this week. At night, our tower will be lit blue all week. And just yesterday, members of the Raleigh Police Department, including their mounted patrol, came to the station to see the lighting in person. Yesterday, the Wake County Law Enforcement Officer Memorial Ceremony was held at Hayes Barton Baptist Church. 24 fallen officers were honored, including Deputy Ned Bird and Officer Gabriel Torres. They were both killed in a line of duty in 2022.
Well, you know, it's almost time for you to get up and move your feet. Live After 5 Summer Tour returns this week in Raleigh. There will be music for everyone to enjoy all summer long. The band Fireside Collective will kick off the series Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. in Moore Square. It's free to attend, and it's a family-friendly event. WRAL is a proud sponsor, and we hope to see you there.
The northernmost point of the U.S. won't see the sun setting until August. Meteorologist Chris Michael shows us why and why we care about that in today's Ask the Meteorologist. Chris, August.
I know, right? And it's something that happens every year, but it's still so fascinating to me that these areas within the Arctic Circle, they go 80 plus days without seeing a sunset. This is the village in Alaska, formerly known as Barrow. In 2016, it was renamed to its original name, which was Utqiagvik. And there you can see the sun not setting below the horizon this past Sunday. Here's where it is. It is, again, the northernmost point within the Arctic Circle. And so as we get closer to summertime, the Earth's northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun. That's why the sun is up all day through early August in places like Utqiagvik. It's a sign that summer is approaching in the northern hemisphere. And that includes, but is not limited to, here in North Carolina, where today we've got less than 14 hours of daylight, but we'll continue to gain about a half hour over the course of the next 40 days. Summer officially beginning in 40 days. The weather says, hold my cheer wine. There you go. Above average temperatures likely in the next 6 to 10 days. But Elizabeth, you wouldn't know it waking up this morning. It was cold out there.
And we're going to have some more chilly temperatures too Friday morning after our front that we see on Wednesday. I'll tell you what, I am here for that sunshine. Maybe not the heat, but I love the sunshine that goes along with our summer. North Hills is looking good right now. Some sunshine breaking out after starting off a couple of hours ago, pretty foggy. It's 46 degrees, so it is a chilly start this morning, as Chris was mentioning. Our visibility is coming up everywhere on the sensors. 3 miles per hour in Southern Pines is our lowest visibility right now. Here's a look at the big picture. We have high pressure that's sitting over the northeast. High pressure systems rotate clockwise. That high is feeding in that chilly air. That's all behind the front that moved through yesterday. Then the next front is coming across the plains right now, and that arrives by late on Wednesday. That's our next weather maker. Narrow line of rain, and it dissipates as it moves closer to us, just like our system did yesterday. It was chilly yesterday and gray, but we just didn't squeeze much rain out of it. We'll be chilly and gusty behind this front too. Here's a look at Futurecast for tomorrow. Today we'll just see plenty of sunshine. It's a nice quiet day for us. We move ahead through tomorrow, and it's nice and dry all day. It's not likely until we get to say 8 or 9 o'clock that we start to see some rain moving in from Durham northward. You can see a few isolated showers there at 9 o'clock. Some rain down south early on, but by the time it passes the triangle, it's mostly fallen apart. So we're just not counting on a whole lot of rain out of this system. A couple days ago, it looked pretty promising, but not so much now. Now we're down to around 1/10 of an inch out of this system on Wednesday. We still need so much rain. That's our best chance really this week. It's a very small chance on Saturday and Sunday, but we do change up the pattern. It currently looks like we'll have a good chance of drier than normal conditions all the way through the next 10 days, but we'll watch that. We may see a few pop-up cells here and there. We still need 11 to 15 inches of rain in a month to get us out of the drought. And again, we've got less than 1/4 of an inch in our forecast for the next 7 days. What is in our forecast, though, is some real summer heat. We climb into the low and mid 90s by Sunday and Monday.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now at the W Traffic Center. We're taking a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. We've been monitoring this incident off the shoulder of the eastbound lanes, not really causing any problems this morning. You can see those westbound lanes, the usual congestion that we see this time of the morning on that southern loop of the Beltline. Right now, you're looking at an 11-minute delay. So keep in mind that southern loop of the Beltline covers the I-40, 440 interchange in Southeast Raleigh, all the way over to US 1 there in Cary. If you're navigating I-40 westbound through Wade Avenue, we're picking up about a 4-minute delay in that section. So keep that in mind as you head out. The northern loop of the Beltline beginning to move a little bit. I was looking at it for the last 20 minutes or so. It was becoming heavily congested. So as we widen out the view, give you a look at that entire loop, the bulk of the congestion really is between Capitol Boulevard all the way back to the I-87 440 interchange. Right now, you're looking at a 9-minute delay. So keep that in mind as you get ready to head out this morning, and that's part of your morning commute. Checking some other routes, you're looking at a 9-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest. But I think on I-87 really getting a lot better. Just a 4-minute delay. You're coming in from Apex. 3 minutes, not going to make you late whatsoever. You're getting ready to head to the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. Missing stipends. Some Wake County parents are owed hundreds and maybe even thousands of dollars from the school district. WRL Investigates takes a deeper look at how this is affecting families. And if you see breaking news, have a story tip, please report it to us. You can go to WRL.com/reported.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. We're tracking some cooler temperatures today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look at the forecast. Elizabeth, I had to run back inside and grab my jacket.
It was chilly this morning. It still is, as a matter of fact. We're looking at some cool temperatures. Look at this beautiful sunshine, though, as we take a look at RDU. This is what we're going to see for the rest of the day. There were some pockets out there where we had some fog. There's still a couple of places where there's some low cloud cover and just a little bit of cloud cover again lingering, but most of it's cleared up now. 49 in Fayetteville, 46 in Roanoke Rapids, 49 in Wilson and in Rocky Mount. So it's pretty chilly, but I feel like once we get into 9 o'clock, we're going to start to see those temperatures jumping pretty quickly. Almost everybody at 10-mile visibility at this point, which is clear. We'll see temperatures climbing into the mid-70s this afternoon. If you're walking the dog this evening, we're right about 70 degrees. Nice and dry for today. Ken?
Excellent, Elizabeth. We're staying on top of the situation we're seeing on I-40 on Lake Wheeler Road. You can see an incident off to the shoulder of the road. This is really the usual morning congestion that we see this time of the morning on that southern loop of the Beltline. So here's what you're looking at. You're looking at a 14-minute delay. So if this is part of your morning commute, definitely you want to leave the house a little sooner than usual in the next few minutes or so. If you're navigating I-40 westbound through Wade Avenue, you're looking at a 5-minute delay. I'll have another update on your morning commute at the bottom of the hour.
Today's scheduled State Utilities Commission hearing was rescheduled due to significant security concerns. The public hearing would have been on Duke Energy's proposed rate hikes. No word on what the specific concerns were. The meeting was moved to June 3rd. Coming up next on Fox 50, what pausing the gas tax could mean for North Carolina customers. And coming up on Today, a look at the best OTC medicines and health products of 2026.
Nice and dry for today, but I'm tracking another front for tomorrow. I'll let you know when another line of thunderstorms is headed our way.
Lowering fuel costs, President Trump calling for a suspension of the federal gas tax. What this could mean for the prices you pay at the pump.
Hantavirus update. One of the people in quarantine after the cruise ship evacuation is from North Carolina. Why health experts say a spread of the virus across North Carolina is highly unlikely.
Well, lots to get to in this half hour. We always appreciate your time at 8:30. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine, and we're starting off our Tuesday a little bit chilly out there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking the forecast. Elizabeth, I actually had to turn my heat on just to knock some of the chill out of my house this morning.
Yeah, it was chilly out there. We dropped into the mid-30s up near the Virginia line, and it's still on the cool side, but we're looking at lots of sunshine across the area right now. We had a dense fog advisory, which is technically still in place, but I'm not looking at any fog lingering really across the area. 46 degrees degrees is our current temperature, but I do feel like once we hit 9 o'clock, we're going to start to notice those numbers jumping. It is 51 in Clinton and South Hill, 46 in Southern Pines, 49 in Rocky Mount right now. So after a chilly morning, we warm up nicely into the mid-70s. Should be very comfortable for today. And then we do have another chance for rain tomorrow evening. I'll walk you through the timeline and talk about our diminishing chances for rain. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, at 8:31, we're going to start with this live look at the southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 Lake Wheeler Road. It looks like a couple of stalled vehicles here, or just one stalled vehicle, somebody trying to help them out. But what you're seeing here on these westbound lanes, that's the usual congestion we see this time of the morning. Right now, you're looking at a 7-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. Not necessarily going to make you late, but just be mindful of that if that's part of your morning commute. If you're navigating I-40 westbound through Wade Avenue, we're picking up a little bit of a delay, about a 5-minute delay, but again, nothing that's going to make you late. We're seeing that northern loop of the Beltline getting a little jammed up this morning. Here's I-440 at New Bern Avenue. So as we widen out the view, give you a look at that entire section of the Beltline. The bulk of the congestion is really between Capitol Boulevard and the IA-7 440 interchange there. Right now, you're looking at a 10-minute delay. So that's something to keep in mind if that is part of your morning commute. As far as other routes coming in, again, really between 2 to 6 minutes, depending on where you're coming from. Wake Forest, you're looking at a 6-minute delay. If you're coming in from Apex on US 1 North, you're just looking at a 2-minute delay. Things are getting a little busy again on I-87. You're looking at an 8-minute delay between Wendell Falls Parkway and the Beltline. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Okay, Ken, thank you. This morning, there is a new push to lower gas prices. New data from AAA shows the average cost of gas in North Carolina is $4.15. In Wake County, it's $4.26, and in Durham County, $4.27. Now, President Trump is suggesting the federal gas tax be suspended. WREL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from a gas station in Cary this morning to really explain what this could mean for the prices people pay at the pump. Kelsey.
Yes, Laura, this gets complicated. The federal gas tax accounts for about 18 cents of the prices that you see here at the pump. But if that tax is removed, it's still not clear how much drivers could save. President Trump is now calling to suspend the federal gas tax. Congressional approval is required to make that move happen. WRAL reached out to all North Carolina congressional lawmakers asking whether they'd support suspending the tax. None of them responded. A recent study on state gas tax holidays found that about 60 to 80% of the tax cut was actually felt at the pump. We asked drivers about whether a federal tax cut would make gas more affordable for their families.
Not really. No, it's going to have to be more than 18 cents. Not if it's going up every day.
Yeah, anything helps. It adds up over the course of the year. That's probably a couple $100 in the pocket.
Another big question is this. If that tax is suspended, then what does it mean for the revenue it generates? Federal gas tax revenue is usually used for major transportation projects across the country. So if that tax is suspended, it could impact the progress of those projects. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
Well, new this morning, a Spanish passenger from that hantavirus-stricken cruise ship is a third person test positive since the ship was evacuated. The Spanish health ministry says the person is in isolation at a hospital in Madrid after testing positive. A French woman who tested positive is in intensive care, according to the French Prime Minister. 18 Americans at the University of Nebraska Medical Center's National Quarantine Unit. One of them is in the contamination unit after testing positive. The hantavirus outbreak killed 3 people aboard that cruise ship earlier. Well, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services monitoring the hantavirus outbreak as well. We now know one person from North Carolina was aboard that expedition ship and is being quarantined. WRAL's Ali Kattlebar, she's live this morning outside the UNC Health in Raleigh. And Ali, medical experts are saying it's highly unlikely for the virus to spread to the public.
We spoke with medical experts here at UNC. They say that while one person on that cruise ship was from North Carolina, it's not likely that that virus will spread to our state. Now, this virus, it may remind you of COVID-19, the pandemic, and social distancing. Well, medical experts from UNC say that shouldn't be the case with hantavirus. It's more deadly than COVID, but hantavirus does not spread as easily. It's not airborne like COVID. Another difference, medical experts with UNC say we know who was exposed to the virus.
Unlike COVID-19, where by the time we realized that it existed, it had spread to hundreds or thousands of people. Here we know everyone who was on the boat. I think the risk to the public is minimal. And I think since we know the people who are exposed, we have the ability to completely protect our healthcare personnel.
Now we have an in-depth article on hantavirus on WRAL.com. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Today, a new push in the state legislature to keep your taxes from going up. Lawmakers plan to discuss a proposed constitutional amendment meant to prevent big tax hikes. It's part of this legislature's broader efforts to tackle property taxes. The proposed changes would limit the ability of city and county governments to collect property taxes in the future. If approved, the proposal would be put on the ballot for voters statewide to decide. Lawmakers are also expected to discuss a proposal to limit property tax exemptions for affordable housing projects. WRAL reported in March that Wake County is losing out on about $745 million annually in property tax revenue because of these exemptions. Today, a Wake County School Board committee is set to discuss new numbers on school building and renovation costs. The cost of school construction is going up. That's putting pressure on school systems and taxpayers' budgets. Costs are up 40 to 50% since 2021, according to new data from the state and the Wake School District. WRAL Education insider Emily Walkenhorst says these costs are largely funded by property tax revenue.
There's some lottery funding that goes towards school construction in North Carolina, but a lot of what is funding school construction is actually coming from the counties themselves, so property taxes.
Today's meeting starts at 1 p.m. You can tune in for those updates on the education section of WRAL.com.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, Laura, I'm getting a quick look here at the CPI that was released a couple minutes ago. This is actually from the website. I thought I'd kind of go down from the Bureau of Labor Statistics website to show you what we're dealing with here. But you'll see the headline there as I put it in the headlines you should see right here by your screen. Looks like all items index rose by about 0.6%, and gasoline is up. In terms of how much it's up, I'm looking here at this graph for the month of April, and it looks like, at least that's as far as it goes here, it says I believe it's 5.4 there. So I'm trying to get more specifics with this as I dig further into it. CNBC kind of is working on a breakdown as well to get more specifics with that as well. But in the little summary here, it also mentions that the index for energy rose about 3.8% in April. Lastly, the CPI for all urban consumers increased 0.6%. Now, what does this mean in terms of how investors are going to be reacting? Opening bell is just about an hour away, so we'll see how they're responding. Futures had a slight dip before the report came out, but we'll look to see what the opening bell numbers here are in the WRAL Live Center coming up in about the next hour or so.
This morning, an 18-year-old is facing charges in connection with last month's shooting at Triangle Town Center. Whately police say Marcus Neal opened fire inside the mall, injuring 3 people. He faces charges including assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury. Investigators have also filed juvenile petitions against 3 teens for misdemeanor rioting and misdemeanor assault. Whately Police Chief Rico Boy says what stands out most is the age of these suspects.
We're seeing this trend of younger offenders committing serious offenses. So very thankful that we have the 18-year-old in custody, and we're holding those juveniles responsible on juvenile petitions.
We're working to learn more about the other teens police say were involved in this shooting.
Today, Raleigh City Council will get new insight into the city's energy usage. In March, council members requested a report on energy usage and the city's efforts to mitigate costs and impacts. They're also expected to discuss information about data centers and management of the city's energy use as it relates to powering AI. Today's meeting starts at 4 p.m.
In just a few hours, tickets for the Carolina Hurricanes playoff games go on sale. The Canes will host games 1 and 2 of the Eastern Conference Final at Lenovo Center. The Canes are awaiting their opponent for the conference final. They'll play either the Buffalo Sabres or the Montreal Canadiens. The Canes have not lost a game yet in the playoffs. They are the first NHL team in more than 40 years to win the first 8 games of the postseason. Conference final tickets go on sale at noon today. The dates for the games have not yet been set.
Your time now is 8:40. Waiting on payment. Parents in Wake County are waiting on thousands of dollars in delayed school stipends. What the school district is saying about the backlog.
Also, Lights, Camera, Carolina, the new proposal that could make North Carolina more attractive to filmmakers.
And you still may need a jacket as you're heading out the door. Temperatures are mostly in the 40s heading out, but temperatures will warm up quickly between now and lunchtime. I'll show you when we'll hit the 70s coming up. 8:44, taking a live look at downtown Raleigh right now. People are out there, of course, in their jackets. It is chilly out there, even though we're seeing plenty of sunshine. Right now, it's 46 in Raleigh, 48 in Roanoke Rapids, 50 in Goldsboro, 49 in Rocky Mount. We are starting to see temperatures creep up a little bit, but they'll start to jump up over the next couple of hours, climbing into the 70s by lunchtime. Visibility is looking good right now, still 3 miles over around Southern Pines, but for the most part, the fog from this morning is gone. If you're headed out to after-school practices with your kids, it's really going to be a lovely afternoon. 4 o'clock, 75, and this evening by 7, we dip into the upper 60s. Ken?
Happening now, we can keep an eye on this southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 Lake Wheel Road. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic. Traffic is moving, albeit a little slowly this morning. Here's what you're looking at. Just a 3-minute delay, so things are getting better on that southern loop of the Beltline. If you're navigating I-40 westbound through Wade Avenue, we're picking up a little bit of delay from Wade Avenue to I-540, so keep that in mind to get ready to head out. Really nothing that's going to make you late at this hour if you're navigating I-40 westbound from any direction.
Ken, thank you. Some Wake County parents are owed hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars by Wake County Public Schools. We have learned how delayed stipends might be causing problems for families. WRAL Investigates. Alex Littlehells looks into how far-reaching one viewer tip turned out to be.
So how far does $25 a day get you? Maybe that doesn't sound like a lot at first, but over time, that can really add up. Some Wake County parents say that they're entitled to this money through the school district. WRAL Investigates found a potential holdup.
This stack of paperwork is supposed to go a long way to Caitlin Hall's monthly expenses.
Be told you're getting $25 a day, up to $500 a month. Why not?
Hall reached out to WRAL with a problem. The Wendell mom is one of the hundreds of families in Wake County Schools' transportation stipend program. Eligible families are entitled to a maximum $500 a month to subsidize alternative transportation for their kids.
And then from
Hall hasn't received a single payment all year.
How much money does Wake County Public Schools owe you?
$2,200 since October.
With little info given every time she asked why. WRAL found out she is not the only one. We went to social media and found dozens of Wake County parents who say they are owed hundreds and in some cases thousands of dollars by WCPSS.
For the entire school year, and we haven't received a single payment yet.
They owe me money for September, October, November, December, and January.
We went to the school district for answers. An official says the district doesn't know how many entries haven't been paid, but did admit the district is working through a backlog. They say it comes from staffing issues, quote, inefficiencies, and the program's growth. What wasn't made clear, though, is when the backlog will be wiped, leaving parents caught in the middle until then.
$2,200 would help us tremendously throughout the summer.
Alex Littlehales, WRAL News.
Well, the U.S. Senate taking a key step toward confirming a new leader for the Federal Reserve. The board voted yesterday to advance Kevin Warsh's nomination to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. He is on track to replace Chairman Jerome Powell later this week. During his confirmation hearing, Warsh stressed the importance of maintaining the Reserve's independence. He's also signaling a more cautious approach to lowering borrowing costs later this year.
New legislation aims to make North Carolina more attractive to filmmakers. A bill filed in the House would increase the amount of grant money available for production companies, including over $1 million in qualifying expenses for a feature-length film. Another bill would also set aside money for smaller, micro-budget films. Supporters say the changes could help create jobs, grow the workforce, and keep North Carolina competitive with other states landing major productions.
In Orange County, a reminder for cyclists. This morning, the town of Carrboro handing out free breakfast and safety gear for riders at the Libben-Cotton Bikeway. There will also be on-site bike maintenance and other resources. The event is free. You can stop by anytime between now until 10 o'clock.
The Wilson Warbirds are honoring first responders this weekend. Saturday night's game includes a special jersey giveaway for the first 1,500 fans through the gates. The replica home jerseys are part of the team's First Responders Night celebration presented by Wilson Medical Center.
Netflix is also facing a new legal battle. Texas is suing the media company over surveillance and data concerns. The state's Attorney General Ken Paxton is accusing the streaming service of spying on Texans and collecting users' data without their knowledge or consent. The lawsuit also accuses Netflix of being addictive. Netflix says the suit lacks merit and is based on inaccurate information. The company says it takes its members' privacy seriously. A popular movie franchise being adapted for television.
And a new word game turned game show. Here's a look at what's trending. Today's show anchor Savannah Guthrie is taking her love of Wordle to primetime television. NBC announcing she will host a new game show based on the popular word puzzle. It will feature teams competing to solve the 5-letter words.
Yeah, the Wordle game show, the premiere was delayed because of the disappearance of her mom. She says this is part of her step in terms of healing.
Yes.
And I'm not sure how much healing she'll be able to do.
Right.
But at least it's a step forward.
Yes, and something that to really think about her and still kind of connect with her.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, the Fast and Furious franchise heading to the small screen. Vin Diesel revealing plans for a new TV series on Peacock. Now, Diesel says there are 4 shows in development, but NBC Universal confirming 1 is in the works.
Yeah, the 11th film, Fast Forever, will hit theaters in 2028. You know, they just can't let some franchises die. They got to keep it going.
and I'm wondering why.
Yeah. I guess we'll see how it turns out.
People like the fast cars.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's turn to the forecast now with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth, cooler temperatures today.
Chilly out there this morning with our temperatures only in the 40s, and then we're going to warm up nicely into the mid-70s this afternoon. Lots of sunshine over downtown Raleigh right now where it is 46, but as we get into the 9 o'clock hour, we should start to see those temperatures more solidly in the 50s, and by lunchtime, right around 70. So if you have the opportunity to spend your lunch hour outside, it'll feel great. I know it probably didn't, walking in, if you're about to walk out the door right now, it is 46 in Cary, 48 in Garner, 49 in Wake Forest, 47 in Rollsville. It's chilly out there, running anywhere from about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it was this time yesterday. This afternoon, 75 in Raleigh and Durham, so we'll be warmer this afternoon than we were yesterday, 77 in Fayetteville. And the week ahead, we continue to warm up tomorrow. That's because a cold front will be on the way that will roll through Wednesday night. Ahead of a cold front, we tend to see a southerly flow that warms us up, and behind it, it tends to be a bit cooler. So looking at 70 on Thursday. To note, 45 on Friday morning, so it'll feel a lot like it does this morning. But then right after that, we are headlong into a real summer-like pattern. 88 Saturday, and then highs are in the 90s on Sunday and Monday, and that may continue for a while. The red shaded area is where it is likely that we'll have warmer than normal temperatures, and that could continue through the next 6 to 10 days. Not so much the next 5 days, but definitely as we get into the weekend. Here's a look at that front Wednesday. About a 50% chance. Unfortunately, this one looks like so many that we've seen lately where the front looks good. There's rain to the west and it gets right into our part of North Carolina and just kind of fizzles. I think we'll see some rain, but it's not going to be very much. At this point, we're still 10 to 15 inches of rain behind. If that's how much we would need in a month's time to get rid of the drought. Look at these warm temperatures. Sunday, 92, 93 on Monday. Again, that could continue. We see some warm mornings. Once we get past Friday morning at 45, we're looking at temperatures in the 60s for the mornings Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So just be ready for that summer-like pattern. That's not good for the drought because the hotter it is, the more it dries out the moisture in the soil. But it is what it is. Our best chance of rain will be Wednesday night. Lena?
Before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers. We'll have another check on weather and traffic next.